Welcome to the Creative Me podcast, coming to you from Guernsey in the Channel Islands. Hello and welcome to the show. It's so nice to be back. I took a couple of weeks off to do some administrative tasks. It wasn't terribly exciting, but I'm working on updating the previous episodes of the podcast, so the show notes are more of a transcript. I confess, I got a couple done over the last couple of weeks, but not all of them. So there was no chance I was going to miss another week's recording because I just enjoy doing it so much. So I think what I'm going to do is set myself the goal of updating one episode a week over the next few months, and then hopefully everything will get done. I think that's realistic. On the subject of setting yourself goals, today's episode is all about managing your learning. A slightly bizarre concept for a podcast episode, perhaps. Hear me out, though. I am obsessed with learning. I think that's fair to say, which is just as well because I spend half the week working as a teacher. I've always deep down been a teacher, even though I've only worked in education for the past 5 or 6 years. But I do have this inbuilt obsession with learning. I'm constantly hungry for new information. And there is such an amazing plethora of information out there that it's very easy to get overwhelmed. I've been thinking about this and I can't be alone. There's got to be other people out there who are just so keen on taking in new information. I love e-courses, e-books, free online resources. I love going to the library. Anything I can watch, read, listen to, I want it. Are you the same as me, I wonder? I hope I'm not alone. Due to this very positive and productive obsession, I've been forced to come up with some strategies for managing my learning. And that's what I'd like to share with you in today's episode. I've got 3, perhaps 4 ways that I keep on top of things. And I'm hoping that this will be useful for you. So the first tip I've got for you is to use a free app called Pocket. You can find out more at getpocket.com. Pocket is a read it later app. You can install it as a Chrome extension in your browser if you're a Chrome user. If you're not, I recommend you download Chrome because the extensions are just fab for extending the functionality of your browser. So download Pocket and you get a little button in your browser. And there are also mobile apps as well. So depending on how you consume content, you can use Pocket pretty much anywhere online. And when you're reading an article online and you're thinking, oh, this is brilliant, I'm going to get into this, I'm going to read this, all you need to do is click the little Pocket icon in your browser and it sends it to your Pocket, not your actual Pocket, obviously, your Pocket page. And you can read it later. So the reason Pocket is really helpful for managing your learning is that if you're in the middle of a task and say you're researching something entirely different and you find a great article, you just send it to your Pocket. What you're doing is you're deferring your learning, you're deferring your consumption. And once you've done that, I guess this is the second tip, you can schedule time to consume all this content, and you can do it in a chunk. You can do it all at once. And that's far more organised than just getting distracted by amazing content, because you can properly focus on what it is you're trying to learn or consume. So there's 2 tips in one there, really. Use Pocket or an equivalent product, another sort of read it later type product like Instapaper, and then schedule your learning. Allow yourself a set period every day or every week to consume all of this incredible content. My next tip for you is to use some sort of system to log and manage everything you're consuming in terms of ebooks and online courses. So we've dealt with kind of articles and blog posts and things, but of course there are books, ebooks, online courses, etc. And the way I manage all of this is through my project management tool of choice, Trello. And I've mentioned Trello to you in the past. It's a great free tool. There's also a freemium option. And I make sure, well, I've got a board set up called Learning. And I've got lists separated into ebooks, e-courses, that sort of thing. And every course I sign up for or ebook I download, I create a card with the login information and perhaps a checklist of the chapters, and I tick things off as I go. I manage my learning through my Learning Trello board. And actually I've set up a public Trello board outlining the sort of learning approach. So if you'd like to copy my Trello board, I'll make sure there's a link in the show notes for you and you can make use of that. My favourite way to consume content, because it's so efficient, is via audio. I love podcasts. There are an incredible range of podcasts relating to your niche that can help you learn. You just need to look for them. You're already listening to this show, so perhaps, extend your reach a little bit and look for something that is going to help you develop. Audiobooks are my other favourite way of consuming content. I love listening to audiobooks. I listen to probably 3 a month approximately. I try and have some fiction on the go, but also some non-fiction with an educational emphasis. So I get the best of both worlds. I get the relaxation of fiction and I get the learning from the non-fiction books. If you've not listened to an audiobook before and you have a mobile device, because that makes it so easy, then really give it a go. I don't think you'll look back. I still read regular books on my Kindle and in sort of, hard or paperback. But audio is just so efficient because if you have a daily commute to work, for example, you can be reading at the same time. I used to suffer with travel sickness, so actually reading a book if I was a passenger in a car or even on a train, not that we have trains in Guernsey, but, any sort of motion would make reading very difficult. By the way, I'm not advocating reading while driving. Can I just point that out? But audiobooks are the solution to that because you don't have to concentrate on text. You just listen. So to recap, my 4 best possible ways of taking on new information and learning are to use a read it later tool like Pocket or Instapaper, then schedule your learning so you have a set time every day or every week to consume this information. Plan everything through a tool like Trello or your preferred project management tool. Monitor your learning, manage it, tick things off. And finally, make use of audio. Audiobooks or podcasts are a great way of consuming information. So that's how I do things. I'd love to hear how you like to manage your learning. Do you have an obsession with learning like I do? Or is it just me? I hope not, because if it's just me, nobody's going to enjoy this episode of the Creative Me podcast. Do let me know on Twitter. You can find me at Martine E. Ellis. Send me an email, martine@martineellis.com, or leave a comment on the show notes at martineellis.com. I'd love to hear from you. That's all from me this week. I hope you'll tune in next time. Thanks for listening.